Hey guys, this is Eckhart Slaughter. Hello and welcome to another Star Wars video. Now, before we begin, over on my second channel, X2, we covered probably the coolest Star Wars fan game that I've seen in my entire life, and the best thing is, it's playable, so go check that out. I shared it on the community tab, but I'll also link to it right now in the upper right hand corner and down in a pinned comment if you're interested, and it's pretty cool, so I recommend you check it out. Alright, so in my coverage of the most recent episode of The Bad Batch, I, alongside pretty much every other Star Wars YouTuber, pointed out the reappearance of an old friend from Star Wars canon and Legends. I'm talking, of course, about Scorch, the Republic Commando, who originally appeared in the Republic Commando games, but also saw a little bit of action in the Clone Wars TV show. The problem was, although this clone looks a lot like Scorch, his name is never actually said, and he does miss a couple of details that the character usually has, especially these extra explosives which he typically carries on his back. And sorry, that sound you can hear in the background is my daughter. Anyway, now that the episode's been out for a few days, people from ILM and Lucasfilm have now started to discuss the making of the episode, and of course, the topic of Scorch, was he or wasn't he in the episode, has come up. So here are a few things that sort of elaborate on that topic. First of all, we have David Collins on Twitter, who works at Skywalker Sound, and this is what he said. So much fun doing sound on episode 14 of The Bad Batch. The classic saturation and flanging on Ben Burtt's original A New Hope blasters is so iconic. Had to use them. Then of course we have the important part for this, and I busted out the original game sound for Scorch's DR-17 that I made 18 years ago. When he talks about original game sound, of course he's referring to the sound within Republic Commando. I actually didn't realize that each clone had a different sounding blaster. I'm not sure if that's what he's saying. He might just be referring to the DC-17 generally. Nonetheless, that is really cool, and people have pointed out, especially my friend Bombastic over on Twitter, how sounds from Republic Commando and other older Star Wars video games are being incorporated into the show, which is really cool. I know this is a bit of a tangent, but growing up, my favorite video game was Shadows of the Empire, and you hear sound effects from that game all the time, whether it's the elevator button sound, which I believe first appeared in Dark Forces, or the sound the pulse ammo for the pistol makes. It's all really cool. Unfortunately, David's post, although enlightening, isn't necessarily determinative. Just because someone is using Scorch's sound doesn't necessarily mean it is Scorch. We do get a little more detail from the StarWars.com episode guide. It says clone commandos were first mentioned in Star Wars Attack of the Clones, but made popular in the 2005 video game Republic Commando. One of the commandos seen in the episode was designed to resemble RC-1262, aka Scorch, from that game. So, also not clarifying, said designed to resemble Scorch. That is of course a difference, but whether that difference matters to you comes down to whether headcanon is more important to official canon. Right now, you cannot say that that clone trooper from an official canon perspective was Scorch. For that reason, I was actually a bit surprised to see that the Star Wars Wiki of all places had them as the same clone. I don't think it really matters. I think what's more important is your headcanon, whether you consider that clone to be Scorch and whether that makes sense to you, but just an interesting bit of discretion on a part of the editors, and I don't think, for the record, that that change will stand for very long. If you look at the actual character models between the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch, they do look very similar, so much so that the Scorch character model was almost certainly the one used for the show. There might be a couple of differences. It's kind of hard to tell. It's on Kamino on the Clone Wars. It's a little bit dark. I think the pauldrons may be slightly different, but even most of the kind of detailed coloration, like how the gray goes down his chest piece, the yellow on his gauntlets, does seem to be the same. My guess is that the reason why it hasn't been confirmed is because they want the audience, or at least the smaller portion of the audience that actually recognizes it as Scorch, to take it as a reference, where if they really need to in the future, they still have a bit of flexibility to put Scorch somewhere else or to retcon that as a different clone or whatever. Anyway guys, that's pretty much the story. My guess is eventually the official connection will be made, but for now we don't know for sure, although really official canon is boring. Go with what you want, go with your headcanon. For me, that's Scorch, and who knows what will happen to the rest of Delta Squad. I would love to see them appear in the show sometime in the future, but who knows. Anyway, until next time guys, this has been Eckhart Slaughter. Be safe, have a good one, and may the Force be with you.